Hey there. I'm not sure how well this will work, but I wrote, it had been a while since I did a written journal, and so I sat down to write one, and it's a little bit long, but this is the outcome. It's called Written Journals Still Work, Being Higher Dimensional, A New Look at Communication. Now what's challenging is to read the screen with this bright light on me. We'll see how well I do with it. Okay, it's been quite a while since the last written journal. Well, if you discount the one-page affair that I did recently, it's been a while. And that one was odd. I just opened the word processor to record a single thought, like in the running notes document I keep. Stray thoughts. Well, I guess that thought had other ideas since it went on and on until the whole page was filled. Anyway, this journaling thing is something alchemical, don't you? I wonder if you've tried it yourself. It is not your personal I who will be writing when you're doing this. It's no channeling thing either. You're not giving over self for some other being to come in and speak. No, it's not that. I mean, if you want to do those things, that's fine, but that's not what I'm doing here. Now, come on. You've been on the receiving end of it by reading or listening to these journals. What does it feel like to you? Do you feel the divine in it, flowing through it? Well, no person is divine. Not me and not you and not anyone. Yet this divinity is something we all share. It belongs to no one. It's not mine more than yours, or vice versa. You own it too. And many of the beautiful and brilliant masters and light beings who have been sent to the earth have come to show us that we too are the divine. Going into heart is a way to make contact with Source or Spirit, with God if you like. Sitting down and writing or video journaling is a way to see the evidence, the truth of that contact or connection. I recommend writing at first, as there are less issues with it than making a video. No need to tackle all the issues at once. Just make the connection. Pick up a pencil, a pen, and let flow. How does it feel when you're in heart? In a way, it's no different than being in head. There's no massive change that you can tell from one moment to the next just when you've made the connection. Not usually. I mean, that's in general. Remember, rules are made to be broken, and the same for generalizations. They're just foolishness, ultimately. One cannot accurately generalize anything. All are unique. Really, one cannot accurately say anything, but we'll leave that one alone. Still, if one can grab a bit more understanding via a generalization and then run with it, that's the fruit of it. Just don't hold tightly to anything, for everything's changing. Be ready tomorrow to let go of today's highest understandings. Be flexible. I call it having flexible perspective. Be ever ready and willing to see from a different angle. Life is more enjoyable that way. Just let go. Hold things ever so lightly. Nothing in this dimension is ultimately real. How can it be when all atoms are 99.99999% not even there? they're not present. Neither are you. When we find things that are true, or that at least resonate with true, they are true up and down the line in the cosmos. Keep the image of the fractal close to your awareness. How the fractal works is how everything works. As above, so below. The ancient maxim. We just didn't know how literally true it was in those other incarnations earlier on, where we were also seeking the truth. Shall this journal also be a short one? Well, it's 3 pages already, so it's not really so short. Here's the thing, though. When you're reading or listening to one of these journals, you're being bathed in a certain flow of energy. It sets things off in you. It heals and renews. The longer you stay in the frequency or the vibration, well, it's sort of like receiving a healing treatment. Maybe that's why they tend to be longer. I don't know. Oh, that was absolute rot. I have no idea why a journal starts, ends, or goes on. They just come through. My job is just to do the best, to be faithful to the energy flow, to represent it as best as I can in writing, putting words to it. I'm just grateful that it comes in a way where I can usually do that. Sometimes you go off into wordlessness, and there's no writing that down. Well, I started out trying to say here, what I started out trying to say here is that I am no different than anyone. Sure, we all have our own special talents, things we've worked on for many lifetimes. We could call it our sacred labor, pursuing and delighting in that which gives us the most joy and fulfillment. Makes your soul sing. Mine, a part of mine, has been writing or communicating. Words themselves are an awesome creation to me. I love working with them. So, I admit this may give me some advantage with journaling. But listen, friends, it's not in the words. Only mind thinks that. It's really in the energy, in the flow, and the words, they ride within that, or on top of it. So it's that flow, the frequency, the energy, whatever we call it, that is the magic of the journaling. It doesn't take fancy words. Do you understand? It's just having your heart in gear, so to speak. That is the magic. So be in heart to hear this, okay? For this moment, let's take a particular perspective and see what it has to offer. See self as not a human having a spiritual experience, which is what we're all taught, but rather as the spirit having a human experience. That's much closer to truth. You are not the person, not the body, not anything that's 3D. You're just using that to manifest on this level. You're a higher dimensional being. So you wear that human body much like a suit of clothing. Without it, you're the invisible woman, the invisible man in 3D. Okay, got that? Now, recognize that this flow through the journals comes from that higher self or spirit aspect of your being, the part that is consciously one with Source, the I am that I am. This is what flows or speaks, whether through you or me or anyone else. All are that. All have access to that, one way or another. Now, stay in heart with me. Don't go off into thought. Thought will take you quickly out of heart. Just keep centering in your chest. It's really that easy. Just be persistent. Look at the thoughts that come and then simply look away. Tell the mind to take a break if you like. It has no part of this process. So we're seeing higher self, how it's resident in the higher dimensions, and how it maintains an aspect of its presence in 3D by connecting up with and abiding with or in a human or other body. Yet the reality of who and what we are is actually stationed in higher dimensions. We are fully present and functioning in those dimensions, right here and right now. They interpenetrate. Now, anytime this seems too strange, remember the empty atom. See how all of the body's solid substance fits to a thimble. No so-called solid thing is actually solid. It's a sort of mirage, something like that. It's a hologram and it's fractal. Stay in heart with me. We've all been thoroughly lied to and programmed with nonsense. They want us inoculated against truth and reality. Lost my place. So that when it's presented, we'll just reject it as nonsense. I hope you're rebellious enough to give this a fair try. Okay, it's so hard to see all of this light. Come on, little program. You'll hear the yogis and teachers and gurus saying you've got to let go of things, to let go of everything. I think this is part of what they're meaning. Once we let go of, quit clinging to and believing all the lies we've been fed, there's pretty much a clean slate to begin again with. It's all been lies, really. So let them go. Just for this moment. Try something else out. Give it a shot. Okay, so there we all are, up in the realms of spirit, beaming our light down to earth, where we seem to exist as a body. Now let's take a closer look at that body. From spirit, we can see there are levels and dimensions to it, even to the physical body. It has an aura, which is like another body, an energy force field. My point is that there is more than just the physical body. There is what could be called a mental body and an emotional body. These we have all experienced, but from our 3D perspective. Looked at from this higher perspective, remember, flexible perspective, things look a good deal different. They're only somewhat the same. I wasn't going to mention it, but some of you are seeing the energy flows in the body from your spirit perspective there. So yes, there is also the matter of the chi, or the energy flow through the body, which is also important. You can see major centers where the flow turns into a spin, and these are the chakras, which are the plexus for the energy, like the solar plexus is a gathering point for the physical body. This stuff isn't mystical. It's really just physics, just factual. It's just that our science has been so misled and taken off the track of these things, and that's been a big part of the matrix, to keep us confounded. Well, that's over now. We're all waking up. those who choose to do so. And there's nothing at all the dark cabal or the bad guys can do about it. As long as we stay in or close to heart, we'll sail right through whatever is placed before us. As spirit, we are invincible and eternal. Nothing can hurt us. So, keep centering in heart. Just that. Really, it's that simple. Just keep doing it. As long as you've got a pure intent and some determination, you'll make it through anything and everything. You can't be stopped. So, to begin to bring this to a close, be both in heart and back up in spirit with me, looking down. So we see from this higher vantage, this perspective, how words are used by the body-mind. We see how the human has been largely cut off from awareness of telepathy by using these things called words. Sorry, friends. I'm just pushing the wrong button here because I can't see very well. So it'll take me a minute to find my place. I wound up back at the beginning again. It's a long journal, isn't it? Okay, you can't be stopped. And we've lost telepathy by using these things called words. We see how when they communicate, before they say a word, their energy force field reaches out to the other. And we see how when they are angry, they're not just shooting words out, but also energy bolts like arrows and daggers at the supposed enemy. We see how much communication goes on absent any words at all. Telepathy is alive and well on planet Earth in spite of the ignorance of her people. So, from levels of spirit, we see how communication is a much larger thing than just words on a page or in a recording. Do you get this? If it seems strange to you, then realize that your higher self gets it. Be in heart and set your intent to tune in to that one. On that level, you do get it. Take advantage of your multi-dimensionality. Lean on it a bit. You can do this. You're doing it already. Okay, so what we've seen is how the communication is much more than anything conveyed by words. Communication occurs on many levels, mental, emotional, and in spirit, not just the physical. It occurs too when we're silent. We've also seen how being in spirit, how communicating with that level or aspect of our being requires our presence in heart, not in head. We've seen how having thoughts is not a problem, but following them is, since it takes us right out of heart. And parenthetically, we've also seen how easy it is to get back into heart. Just place your attention there. I laid all that groundwork to say this. The words that you journal are not the point. The flow of energy they convey, that's what matters. That's what conveys the meaning or message. We've also seen that the flow comes from spirit, not the physical being at all when you're journaling. That's just a conduit. So the bottom line here could be this. The words are just put there to keep the mind occupied and out of mischief, while the greater being of one communes with the greater being of another. These spirit beings are not at all dependent on words, nor are they restricted to the 3D perspective. They are unbounded and free. And my friends, so are we. We just have it to wake up to. Okay, looks like I took a breather in the writing and came back and said, wow. Well, I guess the written journals are still in working order. That writing was amazing, at least from this end. I hope it is conveyed reasonably well, but don't get lost in the words of it. Realize your greater being. Center in heart to read or listen to the video that I'll likely make of this. Let loose the old 3D perspective. Take up flexible perspective instead, and have no fear in taking this journey. Cast off your moorings. Don't hold on to the shore. So what if things are not what you thought they were? So what, I say? What's the big deal in that? Forget the resentment and revenge thing. Just let that go. Sure, you can get off and follow that, but you're just following mind there. How'd you like to spend another 10 million years or so doing that, off on another adventure? Aren't you through with such things? Aren't you ready to go for home? To go home in consciousness, back into spirit, into source or God? Let go your hold on everything to just follow your heart. You'll be doing a lot of just sitting, of watching and observing, both the active and the passive kind. You can also be in the midst of action there at work or wherever, driving home, and find yourself somehow also being the observer. Much is to be gained this way. You see, you, the person, are not in charge. This greater being, the one in spirit, that one is in control. And while ultimately, of course, you are that, that doesn't mean your conscious mind is aware of it. It can't be contained here in 3D. So, stop with the dependence on the conscious mind. Oh! It is not meant to be in control. It's meant to follow heart's lead. We are spirit, not flesh. That's the big lie we've been told. We're finding that out, letting go of the fleshy container. We're realizing our greater being, our real identity. It will seem strange at times, very strange. And that's okay. Just center in heart whenever you're unsure, and then watch and observe. You have a sort of divine teacher whom you contact this way. Now, maybe this is your spirit guide, or maybe it's even your own higher self. Does it matter? Not for me. If the guidance is divine, and we can tell that by the feel of it, then it just doesn't matter what identity that one portrays. It's all just God, or source, or whatever on some level, right? Well, isn't that good enough? Okay, I'll close this one with a little prayer. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, higher self, for this journal, for the flow of it. Please use it to bring blessings to one and all. Awaken each one to their own higher being. Help us all come home in awareness, into oneness with you. As each one desires, so be it. Now what's challenging is to read the screen with this bright light on me. We'll see how well I do with it. Okay, It's been quite a while since the last written journal. Well, if you discount the one-page affair that I did recently, it's been a while. And that one was odd. I just opened the word processor to record a single thought, you know, like in the running notes document I keep. Stray thoughts. Well, I guess that thought had other ideas, things that's fine, but you know, that's not what I'm doing here. Now, come on. You've been on the receiving end of it by reading or listening to these journals. What does it feel like to you? Do you feel the divine in it, flowing through it? Well, no person is divine. Not me and not you and not anyone. Yet this divinity is something we all share. It belongs to no one. Since it went on and on until the whole page was filled. Anyway, you know this journaling thing is something alchemical, don't you? I wonder if you've tried it yourself. It is not your personal I who will be writing when you're doing this. It's no channeling thing either. You're not giving over self for some other being to come in and speak. No, it's not that. I mean, if you want to do those, it's not mine more than yours, or vice versa. You own it too. And many of the beautiful and brilliant masters and light beings who have been sent to the earth have come to show us that we too are the divine. Going into heart is a way to make contact with Source or Spirit, with God, if you like. Sitting down and writing, or video journaling, is a way to see the evidence. Hey there. I'm not sure how well this will work, but I wrote, it had been a while since I did a written journal. And so I sat down to write one, and it's a little bit long, but this is the outcome. It's called Written Journals Still Work, Being Higher Dimensional, A New Look at Communication.